So Mike, you were born here in English.
I was born here in English 79 years ago.
79 years ago, God bless you. Did you always want to be a farmer?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was never anything else. From once I left primary school, that was it. There was no secondary or no universities. I suppose I did a few courses, all right.
Did you do any secondary? No.
No secondary.
No. Yeah.
I did farm schools in the winter and 200 hour courses and whatever was going, I did them.
Yeah, oh yeah.
After staying in. So.
And did you find them good? Did you find the farming courses a big help?
Oh yeah.
Things were really changing at that
right.
time, I suppose, wasn't it?
It taught us a lot about fertiliser and feed as well. I suppose they were the two main ones. Sure, we didn't know anything about fertiliser, only spread the 448. That's all that was going at the time. We were growing barley and oats and barley and everything that time, and grinding it for the cattle.
Grinding it here at home, yeah?
No, up to Tamasheen Cane.
Oh, sorry. So you take up your...
Take up about 5 or 6 bags every week and he'd grind it and we'd bring it home and you mixed your bit of soya bean or whatever to bring up the protein into it.
It was mixed at home for that, yeah.
It was cheap feed.
Now you were dairying then, Mike, for quite a long time.
I was dairying until 91. I suppose I was serious enough at dairying in the 70s.
Yeah.
And I was easing off a little bit in the 80s then when I was left on my own.
Yes, yeah.
I was as serious as anyone in the parish at the time.
Definitely.
I think I was maybe the second highest supplier at one stage.
Yeah. You'd have had what, 30, 40?
I had 37 cows in the late 70s, which was a lot of cows that time.
That was a lot of cows, my God.
It mightn't sound much now.
Yes, indeed.
So in 91 I chucked the dairying.
Yeah.
I had been changing over a bit through the 80s.
You were always fond of the beef side of things.
I was started to keep the calves and I had started to buy some calves even, and I had getting into a few sucklers. So by the time the suckler coaches came in, I was ready as well then. I had built up a
you
suckler
had the numbers,
coaches.
yeah.
The 90s were a good time. We were getting paid for our milk quota and drawing the suckler quota for the cows we had. So the 90s were good.
Yeah, quota was quite expensive at the time. I remember trying to buy it at the time, and yeah, it was trying to get it even was
even renting it out, like it was 25 pence a gallon for doing nothing.
It was a lot of money.
It was.
Yeah.
But they forced it out of us anyway. Eventually we had to sell it. I'd say we got about €2 a gallon for it then, selling it. Which was all right too.
It was brilliant, yeah.
I think I turned it into a shed for the cows. That was one good thing about it, was considered a farm asset. There was no capital gains on it.
Yeah, and I suppose that was the time that the Schlatter tanks were coming in and everything as well.
Yeah, kind of the late 90s.
Control of farmyard pollution was kicking in at the time and that, yeah. The beef has changed quite a lot over the years.
We were mostly beef then.
Mostly beef.
At that stage in the sucklers. Selling mostly to ABP in Rathgill. Some people wouldn't like Larry Goodman, but I thought he was a great man. If you got a bad price in the factory, it is because you sent in a bad animal.
Fair enough, yeah.
In those times, I used to always go up, carry him up on the jeep, 3 or 4 bullocks at a time, and you watch them being killed and being graded and everything.
Yeah.
It was an education in itself.
Was, of course.
Yeah, when you see how their fat scores were, you know if you had one that was barely there, you might wait a couple of weeks before you go again.
Did you sell any animals locally to the couple of abattoirs in Dingle? Or?
Oh, we sold a lot of heifers in there, and lambs too. Corns there in Lower Green Street. Noreen Corns.
Oh, yes.
Michael Lowett's, we call it.
Yes, yeah. When did that start changing? When did they start?
I suppose when they stopped killing, sure he got old, even though he kept working till he was into his 80s.
Over the years, what would you have seen as the biggest challenges to your farming career?
I suppose it goes back to some of the bad years in weather.
Yeah,
Would be tough enough, and we might call this a bad year, which is far from a bad year. When we consider times we were trying to cut silage, and I remember one year we were trying to get it cut before All Ireland, so we could go to All Ireland, and that was 20th of September.
what would you say about the climate change and all the negativity, I suppose, about the beef and the methane and the animals?
I'm not too much on their side. I have an idea we've had animals and cattle ever. The only big change in the 100 years is all the fossil fuel that's been used, and I think that's where the problem must be coming.
Yeah,
Dublin Airport is a lot worse than all the cows in the country.
Yeah.
That kind of way, but what can we do about it?
yeah. Suppose,
But
yeah.
there's definitely ways of wind farms and panels and all this, like that's definitely something for the future.
Yeah, yeah. Suppose we could do an awful lot with biodiversity as well. We were told to take out all the fences and the ditches and all the briars, and
Yeah, we were paid to do it,
we
weren't
were
we?
paid to do it, yeah.
We'll be paid to put them back now.
What would you say about farm to fork?
It would be very good if it could be got going. I'm sure there's a lot of regulations
Yeah,
to overcome, but they can be overcome.
important to keep local food locally.
Yeah, it would be great to have a lot of this talk of dairy calf to beef now. Sure, a lot of these little Angus heifers, they'd be ideal for that
Yeah.
at 18 months wage or something.
It's all Angus you have now, Mike. I remember you had the
Yes.
Continental Charlies for a while.
The Continentals, and they were grand, but I think the main reason for changing was getting old
Oh yes, yeah.
and getting up in the middle of the night to a cow. When you have the Angus cow inside with the calving camera, you'll see the calf walking around when you turn it on. Whereas the other fella, even if she did calf him, he wouldn't get up and suck her.
Yeah, you'd have to be there.
You would have to be there to help.
That bit more
And-
nursing, yeah.
A dangerous place to be.
So big changes over your lifetime in the farming anyway, yeah.
A lot of good changes.
That's
A
good.
lot of changes were for the good. It made life a lot easier. The slavery is gone.